Hello everyone. With the 21st century, a new word has entered our vocabulary, early retirement. In our current topic, we will discuss early retirement and talk about its advantages and disadvantages compared to standard retirement. As you know, when we worked for many years, a deduction was made from our payroll under the name of the Social Security institution. The payment we make under the name of long-term insurance contributions is essentially our deduction for retirement. These funds are deducted from individuals during the period they are working, that is, while they are receiving a salary, and are evaluated in the funds of the Social Security institution. And when a person reaches the legal retirement age, they retire based on the money they have accumulated over the years. And after this process, the state provides them with health services for the rest of their lives and grants them a pension by making deductions from the money they have accumulated. As I mentioned, this is the general operation of standard retirement. As we all know, life expectancies are no longer what they used to be. Both in our country and around the world, the average life expectancy is increasing. This also brings us face to face with the risks of long life. When you look at the new generations, their average life expectancy at birth is over 80 years. This means that a person who retires at the age of 60, 65 will need to live on their retirement pension and savings for an average minimum of 15 to 20 years. However, when you look at it, both in our country and around the world, social security systems have significantly weakened. With this increased life expectancy, the budgets within social security become increasingly inadequate over time to meet the needs related to both the healthcare system and financial requirements during the aging process. As we observe the retirement-related issues that exist in our country, we think that we will definitely need some alternative savings during the retirement period. So how do you think we can retire early, or why should we retire early? Or what do you think could be the benefits of this standard retirement? In other words, how much can it contribute to improving things in our lives even after we retire? Or let me ask the other side. If we want to retire early, how can we achieve this? And why do you think we should retire early? First of all, we need to start by looking at the relationship between money and time. As you know, money is unlimited, but time is limited. Therefore, we cannot say that there is a linear relationship between money and time. Especially after seeing people who become wealthy at a young age by establishing the right systems, we can also say that the effect of time on money is minimal. On average, the number of days a person spends as an adult is 25,000. If you are listening to me right now, it probably means that you also have a need to convert these days into money. However, you have to work to earn money. Just think, if all your time were yours and you allocated it only for the things you wanted to do, your employers' and other people's goal would be to utilize your time in a way that provides them with as many financial resources as possible. Business meetings, phone calls, etc. However, what you need to understand is that this is your time and there is no backup for it. This is exactly why the early retirement plan is designed. Making the right plan, earning money in return, and using your own money to buy your remaining time. The purpose of the early retirement plan is to retire you as early as possible. In the meantime, what I mean by retirement is not that you should never work again, friends. It means that you should never have to work out of necessity again. So during this process, time is entirely up to you. You can either work or engage in other activities. The freedom to use your time is left to you. If you want to retire early, or at the standard age, you first need to reframe the feelings and thought system you have regarding retirement. You need to get your mind out of the standard retirement molds. As a society, we have a template in our heads regarding retirement. The items of this template are very clear. First, study at a good school. Find a secure job. Work there for over 40 years or 30 years, then retire. And afterwards, sit at home. Take care of your grandchildren, and at most tend to the garden. This standard approach is a template designed for you to retire at the age of 60 and beyond. That's why you always see gray-haired aunts, mothers, and grandfathers in advertisements. There are three main problems with the standard retirement approach, my friends. The first point is that for most people, things do not go this way. In other words, the income level you receive after retiring at 60 does not satisfy you. The life you experience after 60 does not physically fulfill you. You still don't have the financial means to do the things you want after turning 60. You don't want to live the life imposed on you after 60, but you have no other choice. I'm saying that things are not going this way. At the same time, one of the main problems is that you are spending the most beautiful and productive years of your life working for someone else. You are spending it realizing other people's dreams. And most importantly, whether you want to or not, you are spending it working. However, in early retirement, all related choices are yours. In standard retirement, working for money becomes the foundation of your life. Years go by in that circulation of money. You work, you earn, you spend. You work, you earn, you spend. You neither have a proper savings, nor do you make investments, nor have you traveled, nor have you experienced the life you wanted, nor have you done the job you dreamed of. On the other hand, standard retirement does not genuinely have the intention of allowing you to retire early. So, you can have your insurance paid at the age of 3 and retire at 33, but according to your correspondence, you are required to officially wait until the age of 67 to 65 for retirement. What are we actually doing with early retirement? We are redefining retirement according to the 21st century, the information age, our new dreams, and our rich lives. What if I told you that if you set aside 20% of your income, you could retire 20 years earlier than your standard retirement? Instead of spending 40 years earning money and living in a certain way day and night, wouldn't it be more beneficial to plan the next 10 years correctly? With the right financial statements, the right financial intelligence, and the right investment strategies, you could take significant steps towards your early retirement within just 10 years. There is also this situation. In standard retirement, you have to postpone everything you want to do in life until after retirement, because even your legal leave periods are defined. And if you work in the private sector, your phones are always on during your leave periods. Just think, you might not have realized any of your dreams until you retire. So you retire, and suddenly you are bewildered because you have always waited to be retired throughout your life. Instead of creating a balanced life vision, you have always dreamed of your retirement days. When you retire, you are left with nothing concrete in your hands. You have no hobbies, no job skills you can utilize, no financial intelligence you can develop, and no financial savings to occupy yourself with travel or similar activities. If you are truly one of the lucky ones, you have bought a house while working, and at least you have a garden. Or you might have a car on the side, or perhaps a summer house. At the very least, you can sustain your life during retirement with these. But if you dream of early retirement, everything will be completely different. Because when the time comes, you will have achieved the financial freedom you desire at the age of 35, 40, or 45. At that time, while you are healthy and in your youth, you can work, travel, and have the opportunity to realize your dreams as you wish. In this process, you work for your dreams instead of working for money. I'm sure many of you think like this. If we have an option like early retirement, it's not for us. You probably think it's only for those who have a lot of money. If that were the case, I wouldn't be discussing this right now. When you make a proper plan, which starts with conscious spending plans as the first step, and when you learn to manage your own money, gaining control over it, then when you diversify your income and increase those incomes with the right savings and investment accounts, and when you grow your income streams and cash flows by investing in active assets through side business ideas, and when you repeat these processes continuously and consistently, you might find that you have also achieved early retirement like those privileged people you see as rich. As I said, believe me, the hardest part of this is not saving, investing, or finding ideas to increase your income. Absolutely not. Once you learn these, applying them in practice is really easy. As you learn the basic concepts and how to implement them step by step, you will see the results and efficiencies in a short time. Of course, I am not saying that this is very simple and easy. But if you persevere, maintain your discipline, and stay determined, it is definitely not an insurmountable challenge. In fact, the hardest part of this is the becoming I mentioned earlier. That is, learning to see the world differently. The most challenging aspect of achieving financial freedom is breaking down and discarding your frameworks. Learning to look at the world through broader lenses, accurately reflecting your own perspective. Even if there isn't a single person around you who has done this and achieved success, or even if someone tells you how unrealistic it is, if you hold on to even the tiniest possibility and take action, you will see how to earn enough money within a few years. When you start this determination, there will be dream destroyers around you, just like your icebreakers. They will try to break you down from the middle. You will hear them say how difficult what you are doing is, whether dreams can be built with just a few pennies, how unreasonable the things you are dealing with are, that you should just work and get a decent salary since your future job is already clear, and who are you to become rich, more or less. I had to ignore so many people to be able to do these things, but I held on to that crumb I told you about. Because I have read the books of dozens of people who succeeded from that crumb, and I have listened to their discussions about financial intelligence. By incorporating the theoretical knowledge I learned in school, achieving success became inevitable. You must ignore your friends and family who giggle and say that while you will earn a lot of money and retire early, there is no way to do so under these conditions. You need to develop your own financial freedom strategies. You should learn your limits when it comes to spending money, and conduct research based on your abilities, skills, and level of knowledge regarding earning more money. This will continuously lead you to seek a better life. As I said, freedom comes at a cost, and it's not cheap. If you want to live your life by your own rules, you must also manage money according to your own rules. This requires a completely different perspective. To achieve this, you must first cultivate your belief in early retirement despite everything and transform yourself from the perspective of standard retirement into an individual equipped with the right financial intelligence that is compatible with the new information age.